All righty. Well, welcome to our first Wellness Wednesday at Holistic Wellness Clinic. I am Dr. CJ, and let's see if my computer will cooperate. Here we go. So I am Dr. CJ. I'm a doctor of chiropractic here at Holistic Wellness Clinic. I went to the University of Kansas for my undergrad, Rock Chalk, and then I went to grad school at the Palmer College of Chiropractic in Florida. So those of you who know my mom, Dr. Cooper, she went to Palmer in Davenport, Iowa. And when I finally decided that I was going to become a chiropractor, I decided that if I was going to suffer for 3 more years, it was going to be by a beach. So this is like my first real winter back in Iowa. So it's been real fun, to say the least. So, like I said, my mom is also a chiropractor. She's our main doc here at Holistic Wellness Clinic. But that does make me a second generation chiropractor, which is a pretty cool thing. At Holistic Wellness Clinic, we have a big team. We have a lot of moving parts going on here. So this is just some of our team pictured here. I know a lot of you are calling in via phone, but we are recording this. If you want to go back and check out some of the fun pictures, and or make sure you're following us on social media, either Instagram or Facebook. We try to keep it lively, and we try to make sure you know our faces when you come in the door. So our team consists of 3 chiropractors, myself, Dr. Cooper, and Dr. Catherine. With that, we have 3 support staff, and one of those is Nurse Jess, who a lot of you know. Nurse Jessica joined us recently, but she is one of our amazing support team members. We then have 1 clinical nutritionist, Julie, and we have Stacy training under her as well to take over that role. We have 1 office manager, Heather, and then we have 3 to 4 front desk staff people as well. Again, it takes a lot of hands to make this ship move smoothly. So a lot of moving parts. We try to make it when you walk in the door. It seems smooth. You don't have to think about much. That's our job. But there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So when we talk about health, holistic wellness is different in that we check the full triad of health. We're checking structure, we're checking emotion, and we're checking nutrition. So a lot of the times when you hear, oh, I'm going to my chiropractor, you're probably thinking structure, and you're not wrong. That is a big component of what we do. But we love those emotional and nutritional components. And in order to have full, well-rounded health, you really need to address that full triad. So we're going to go through each one of those. First, we're going to talk about structure. And you'll see my mom, Dr. Cooper, and I adjusting here. We got a little mom.duo, like we like to call it. But chiropractic in general is healthcare that focuses on disorders of the musculoskeletal system and the nervous system, and the effects of these disorders on general health. So any of these disorders can look like back pain, neck pain, headaches, injuries, concussions. We do a lot of concussion work at Holistic Wellness, any sort of neurological disorder, learning disabilities, and then just general wellness. I always like to make the analogy of you go and get your teeth checked every 6 months, right? Or you're supposed to. You can see your teeth. So you want to make sure that those are staying healthy. But what about your spine? Just as important, I would argue, I don't know, I don't want to make that argument. I would say almost more important, but your spine is definitely important to make sure that that general wellness of your spine is staying well, is staying aligned, is staying turned on. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I always like to ask who has seen a chiropractor when we do this talk in person. But it always surprises me because about half of the United States has never, ever been to see a chiropractor, which just blows my mind because I've had chiropractic care since I was literally like hours old. If any of you have been in room 1 at our clinic, you see a picture of my mom hanging me upside down and adjusting my spine as a wee babe. So chiropractic care is more than safe for little kids. And if you think about it, birth is traumatic. On the mom, on the baby, all of it. So from hours old to what we have one patient call antique, chiropractic is safe and beneficial for all ages. But what is an adjustment? When you go see a chiropractor, what is that structural technique that they're using on it? And an adjustment is manipulation of a joint that then promotes joint mobility to alleviate nerve irritation and reestablish altered reflexes. So we like to liken this to making sure your lights are turned on, making sure that you don't have a breaker flipped, so that everything can fire properly, so that your system can function optimally. When I throw just some basic chiropractic care stats at you now, a lot of you are on your phone, so I'm going to read these so that you can hear them. But it's pretty amazing just how specific chiropractic care can reduce pain and just improve overall wellness. So the first one here says patients who saw a chiropractor as their initial provider for low back pain had a 90% decreased odds of both early and long-term opioid use. So a lot of you have probably heard of the opioid epidemic or opioid crisis. It's a lot to do with pain management. So those who saw a chiropractor first for low back pain, 90% decreased odds of that long-term need for pain medication. An additional study said reduced odds of surgery were observed for those whose first provider was a chiropractor. 42.7% of workers with back injuries who first saw a surgeon had surgery, in contrast to those only 1.5% who saw a chiropractor first. So basically what that's saying, if you go to a surgeon and there's a time and a place for surgery, I totally get it. But if you have back pain and you go see a surgeon first, 42.7% of you will end up on a surgical table. Versus if you go see a chiropractor first, only 1.5% will end up needing surgery for that low back pain. Next, we have older Medicare patients with chronic low back pain and other medical problems who receive spinal manipulation from a chiropractic physician had lower costs and care and shorter episodes of that back pain. So I heard an interesting stat the other day that was basically saying you spend more money in your last 2 or 3 weeks trying to save your life than you do over the entire span trying to like increase or promote your health. So chiropractic care in general is just low cost and shorter episodes of pain and that kind of things when you can get those lights to turn back on. So investing in your health now is always a wise thing to do. Back pain and neck pain were the most prevalent health problems for chiropractic consultations. That's kind of our bread and butter of that structural component we're talking about. And the majority of users reported chiropractic helping a great deal with their health problem and improving overall health or well-being, which is always our goal here. Chiropractors are the highest rated healthcare practitioners for low back pain. So we're really focusing just on that structural component of the triad right now. Treatments above PTs, above special physicians like MDs, neurosurgeons, all of that fun stuff. Not to say that there isn't a time and place for that. We have some great PTs that we love to refer out to, as well as other practitioners in the area. But for low back pain, for neck pain, make sure you're seeing a good chiropractor. Like I said, we do a lot more than just the basic chiropractic adjustment. So we like to make sure your lights are all turned on, okay? That being said, the spine, liken the spine to your breaker box. If you have a breaker flipped, you have certain lights that are not turned on, that are not firing properly, right? So what we do is we use muscle testing to figure out which of those lights are turned off, and then how can we turn them back on? And there's a lot of different interferences that can cause those lights to turn off, can cause that breaker to flip, and it's our job to find that and then to help you keep those lights turned on. So in this first picture, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this is Dr. Cooper here doing a technique called craniobiotic technique. Craniobiotic technique, or CBT, is for underlying infections. We use that a lot with just a variety, but when you've got like a bully hitting your system, CBT helps make the body aware and has the body, along with nutrition usually, but address that underlying bully. It works very, very well. Next to that, we have QN concussion protocol. So QN means quantum neurology. It's like neurological rehabilitation. And we have a specific concussion protocol that we do a lot of at Holistic Wellness Clinic. and we see great things with it. So concussions, new or old, to be honest, if you've ever had any sort of hit to your head, but really it can be any sort of like jarring hit to your body can cause a concussion. I personally had a lot of concussions playing soccer growing up and through college. That the QN concussion protocol has been a game changer for me, no doubt. So I used to have constant headaches and just kind of that brain fog feeling. And we just had to get my brain to turn back on to figure that the power that made the body heals the body. Sometimes it just needs a little bit of help to figure out those interferences. Below that, you see a technique called Catman. And Catman is for, man, a variety of things. It works the vagus nerve, which is a huge parasympathetic nerve. So when I say parasympathetic, I'm talking about rest and digest. That part of your nervous system, rest, digest, and heal. And unfortunately, the way that our world is, we are typically in a fight or flight response. We are stuck in sympathetic, we are stuck in fight or flight. And Catman works a lot for chronic pain, for like gastroparesis, for stomach issues. Really, it can be used on almost anyone and everything, but it helps to stimulate the vagus nerve and put you into that parasympathetic state so that you can rest, you can digest, and you can heal. One to the left, you see just quantum neurology in general. So there I'm checking an S1 nerve root. Again, just making sure that those lights are turned on, that the muscle is firing properly and that breaker is flipped on correctly. To the left, we see some of our faves here, little babe. Man, this baby was probably days old when Dr. Cooper was adjusting them. And funny enough, the baby's actually named Cooper, which is always fun. But anyways, chiropractic, like I said earlier, is safe for all ages and honestly recommended for all ages. It's easier to build strong children than to fix broken adults. Granted, we do both, but let's start them young. So we kind of talked about structure. Now we're going to move into emotion. I'd like to say, does anyone have stress? And if you were in front of me, I would hope all of you would raise your hands because we just live in a stressful world right now, but always. We've got a lot of different stressors, a lot of different monkeys on our back. So our main technique to help with emotions is neuro-emotional technique. And this is a practitioner-guided tool to help identify and let go of mind-body stress responses. So if you picture eating a lemon, right? Like biting down into that lemon, you start to salivate. There are mind-body responses when it comes to emotion, when it comes to those, what we call physiological response. So anxiety, depression, just overall mental health and mental clarity has a lot to do with not just the mind, but the body's response too. So neuro-emotional technique helps to make that connection, that mind-body connection, and then let that stress go. Help your body deal with it, help your body dissolve it so that it's no longer affecting your system as a whole. Physical pain with no relief, you've tried everything, you've been to everyone. Often there's an emotional component. Okay, so I will hear often like, oh my gosh, they're just a pain in my neck. Okay, well, right there, that pretty much tells me there's probably an emotional component tied to why you constantly have neck pain, right? So this, again, is why we want to address the full triad of health. We want to make sure structurally, if we're using that example, structurally the neck is addressed, right? There's a huge structural component to that. But I want to make sure there's not an emotion tied to it as well. Maybe if you're someone who holds your stress up in your shoulders, maybe that could be a component, right? I would encourage all of you to do what's called a wellness check, and this is free. You just go to netmindbody.com. So NET mindbody.com. And up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see something that says wellness check. And you'll go through just a quick list of symptoms. And in that list of symptoms, it'll then populate what your scores are. And that gives us as practitioners a really good just baseline of where are we starting and how much of this is emotional, how much of it has an emotional component to it. If you do that wellness check, make sure to bring it to your next visit, and or if you're not currently a patient, go ahead and email it to wwc@cc200.com, and then one of our practitioners will get back to you, and we'll let you know if we can help with that or not. But it is a really good source of just an objective information of where you're at. Okay, so we talked structure, we talked emotion, and we're going to move into nutrition. So nutrition has two components in our world as in holistic wellness. We have diet and we have supplementation. Okay, diet is super important. I can't stress that enough. And we're going to talk about cutting the crap. So B.J. Palmer, who is one of the founders of chiropractic, said the preservation of health is easier than the care of disease. And diet is key to being proactive of the preservation of your health. So you could start by cutting the crap. And what is crap? Coffee, refined sugars, artificial sweeteners, and preservatives. So a lot of you are like, oh my God, that's my whole diet. What do I do? Start one thing at a time. All right, so coffee. If you drink too much coffee, especially if you're putting it in your stomach like the first thing in the morning, it's super acidic. And microbes like bad bugs love to live in an acidic environment. So first of all, I would say if you're going to drink coffee, this is one place where I would say spend the extra money and buy organic. Avoid any sort of extra chemical that could be in that. But then also make sure it's not the first thing you're putting in your stomach in the morning, okay? Make sure you're drinking water. You can add some lemon to that water. And I would definitely suggest eating it with food. Again, just so that it's not the first thing that touches your stomach and makes that even more acidic, right? We already have a problem. So many people have gastric reflux. And often that's because there's too much acid in the stomach, okay? Refined sugars. High fructose corn syrup is everywhere. It's one of the major reasons that we have such an obesity epidemic in our world. I had a patient the other day text me a picture of, I think it was juice boxes. And she's like, what about this? It says really low sugar. But you look at it and Splenda is there. So refined sugars, artificial sweeteners is kind of what we're talking about at the moment, but they're hidden. They like to hide and they are neurotoxins. So if we go into artificial sweeteners, anything like soda, diet soda, sucralose, Splenda, NutraSweet, you want to stay away from all of these. These are all neurological disruptors. I would rather you eat plain sugar than any sort of artificial sweetener. Granted, we need to reduce sugar from our diets. There's way too much sugar in our diets, which you've heard over and over again. If we just cut sugar out, we'd be a heck of a lot healthier community. But artificial sweeteners are one of the main things that we will tell patients to avoid. They often cause headaches, they cause brain fog, they cause stomach issues. They're honestly not good for anyone. I don't know anyone who an artificial sweetener is good for. And typically they're hidden and you don't even realize that you're drinking them or eating them. So take a closer look at your labels and see really how many artificial sweeteners are you getting into. Lastly, we have preservatives. So prepackaged and or anything that's not made from Mother Earth. Now, I get it. I'm not perfect either. Okay. I live by like an 80-20 diet, meaning 80% of the time, the food that I bring home, the food I go and buy at the grocery store is good. Okay. It's healthy. It's from Mother Earth. It's real food. 20% of the time, I like to go out with my friends and family too and go to a restaurant and be able to eat whatever I want to eat and not have to worry about it. I get it. Okay. You don't have to cut everything out. You don't have to be the Debbie Downer at the party, but 80% of the time, the things that you are bringing into your home, make sure you are at least cutting the crap. All right. Now we move on to more supplementation. So again, I eat pretty clean when I'm at home and I can't get enough nutrients without supplementation. I have yet to find someone who can. I would love to say that well, I can say food is medicine, but our food supply is just not there anymore. Unfortunately, the nutrition, the minerals in the food just isn't there. And that's where supplementation comes in. So our clinical nutritionist, Julie, who's down in that bottom left picture, does supplementation, does clinical nutrition for a variety of issues. So we have headaches, we have anxiety and depression, bone health, immune health, gut dysbiosis or like stomach problems, skin conditions, general wellness, methylation or genetic issues, hormones and infertility, autoimmunity, and allergies. And we're going to talk about allergies even more in a second. But like I said, you can't really just get supplements from your diet anymore. It's unfortunate. Again, I wish you could. Everyone should be on some sort of vitamin D right now. We live in Iowa. It's cold, right? We are not getting enough vitamin D. Vitamin D, zinc's another good one to make sure that your immune system is up in gear. We do a zinc test on everyone in our office when they are a new patient, and I would say 95% of the time, people do not taste that zinc, and that just means they're deficient. Okay, so vitamin D, zinc, just anything that's going to help support that immune system. But Julie, our clinical nutritionist, does a really good job of helping general wellness, but then also any sort of specific complaint you might have. Let's talk headaches, let's talk gut issues. We've got a lot of different things that we can help you with there. So like I said, we're going to talk allergies a little bit as well. Allergies, we use a tool called the ASA, Allergy Sensitivity Assessment, and then often we treat with that machine as well. The ASA desensitizes the body to over 1,000 different foods, to toxins, to microbes, and to chronic immune challenges. It also works wonders for emotions and helping balance out some emotional things. So the ASA is simple, it's painless. You just wear a bracelet, and Stacy and Julie are really good at explaining that machine, but it's just one more thing you can use to help holistically deal with allergies. In addition to that technology, we use a lot of different technologies in our clinic because of this reason. So if you think of your body as a bank account, do you have a savings account? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Or are you already bankrupt? Like, how sick do you feel? We do a functional evaluation the first time you come into our clinic. And most of you, if you're a current patient, you've already had this done, and we've done this talk with you, okay? So a savings account, if you have energetically, if you are in a savings account state, that's great. That's where we want everyone. You've got a 401k, no issues. We're really just treating for wellness at that point. And that's where we want all of our patients to be. Just on that like wellness care, you've got fine tuning things here and there. But if you blow a tire, whatever that means in the body, it's no big deal. You come back from it really quick. Then we have paycheck to paycheck. So you blow this same tire and now you got to like, okay, I can't go to dinner with my friends tonight. And like, I'll probably have to cut back from this, but it's okay. I'll pay for that tire. I'm going to be okay. But it's paycheck to paycheck. And I would say majority of our world, majority of the patients we see are in that paycheck to paycheck range. When you are paycheck to paycheck or when you're bankrupt, that's when we use these extra technologies. So if you're already bankrupt, you're pretty sick, to be honest. I was in a bankrupt state when I was in college. I got really sick. Long story short, I ended up with just a perfect storm of underlying infections, and my kidneys were failing, and it was just not a good time. No matter what I did, I just couldn't get out of that bankruptcy. I didn't have enough energy in me to fight those microbes to heal. So a lot of this technology has since come on board, and it's a game changer. So what this does is this is us being like, okay, here's $100. Go pay for that tire. You're going to be okay. Okay, we're going to give you that energy so that so that your body can heal itself. Again, the power that made the body heals the body. Sometimes it just needs a little help. Okay. So at Holistic Wellness, we utilize a variety of different technologies to help build this money or help build your health. Sympathetic resonance technology, that's up in the upper right hand. Frequency specific microcurrent, pulse electromagnetic field, ion cleanses, laser therapies. All of these are frequency based and they're helping to charge those cells to help give you energy so that, again, your body can heal. So with all of that, we kind of touched on structure, we talked on emotion, we talked on nutrition. And this is always a fun graphic of what 100% like what people think we do as chiropractors is adjust spines. But in reality, what we actually do, we do adjust spines, but we do a heck of a lot more. We help release emotional stressors, we check nutrition, we aid in weight loss, we rehabilitate the nervous system, we help fight infections, we boost the immune system, we desensitize to allergies, we help with a lot of infertility, acupuncture, and so much more. So with that, does anyone have any questions? I wanted to keep this short and sweet for our first one. I don't see, let me see here. I'm going to stop the recording.